Founders365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today we have the wonderful, amazing, incredible Kerrie Rycroft, who is an online business course creator, amongst other wizardry things, which we're going to dive straight into today. So thank you, Kerrie, for being on the podcast. On number 2, you are a second guest. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit. Then you went all
jagged. Okay, it's cool. We'll keep it going. It's Kerrie's on her phone, so if the internet goes, that's why. But Kerrie, if you can just jump straight in and explain what you do, who you are, what you're about, and we can go from there.
I'll just talk, and if you can't hear me, and we'll do something else. But yeah, no, thank you for inviting me on, Steven. I spend the working is and stuff that they then sell it hundreds of times or thousands of times, and it's a great way to reach more people and without having to work millions more hours. And the reason that I got into this way of working is because I'm a single mum with 4 kids, a million animals, and the most ridiculously busy life in the history of the world. And 2 of my kids have got quite additional needs that your time. And a traditional business didn't work for me. I don't have 8, 9, 10 hours a day when I can sit in front of a laptop and without interruption. That just doesn't exist for me. My work little pockets of time. Is trying to work out, why isn't this working for me? How come I'm really stressed and pulled around all over the place? There must be, I can make this work for me. Why should I? This or my friend, everything else that I want to do. I spent ages trying to create that business and it looked like online courses. And after it worked for me for a year or so, then my clients started to say to me, well, hang on a second, can you show me how to do this? And it's brilliant. That's now I spend my life helping other people, which is really, really fun.
You can't complain about that, can you? So you started off walking the walk, and then you got approached by the people that could see what you were doing, and they were like, Kerrie, I need your help.
So for about a month, I started doing it for other people because there's so many mistakes that you can make and so many things that can go wrong. And I didn't want to be one of those people that goes, I've done this once, do the same thing for you. Because I think a steep learning curve when you start doing something brand new. So I decided that I would do it for myself before I started helping other people to do it, hopefully without the mistakes.
Exactly. And what is so those things that come up when people think it's so much easier than it is, what are those typical things that people come to you and they go, this is what I've got, and then you probably just blow their mind with actually what is possible and what they need to do? So what are some of those things that often come up?
So that's my favorite part of the whole first conversation with someone. What are you really good at and what do you help people with? And then how they could transfer that into an online product. And sometimes seeing that penny drop and seeing their face go, actually pay for that? Really? Okay. That's a moment for me when they realize that, yes, they skills that they can turn into something to sell online. Because people think that you have to know everything before you can create an online course.
Yeah.
And you really, really don't more than the person. You don't have to have all the answers. I don't teach people how to make £1 million because I've never made £1 million in a year.
Yeah.
So I teach people how to do it. There are people who haven't experienced what I've experienced that I can help, and I can teach them what I know. And there'll always be people out there that know more than me but then there's millions of people out there who I can. I think people expect that you have to have every 100% perfect, which isn't the case. You just have to be good at what you do. And you have to be able to teach people something specific. And it just has to be not 100 things all at once, because then the message gets really, you know, confused and really sort of watered down. So I think that's the hardest thing for me, is reining people back. Like, just one,
right? Because they want to. I'm guessing they come.
Courses.
Do they want to come at like 100 miles an hour then, and you sort of just have to go, look, let's start at 10 miles an hour and build your way up?
I normally make them remove. Them remove about 80% of what they think they're going to put in their course. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't much. The worst experience, you buy a course and you're faced with, here's 100 hours of video to work through, or here's 58 different to look at, and your initial reaction is, I'm just not going to do it. Whereas if it's one thing, 5 videos, 20 minutes long, if they're short and manageable, then
exactly. And for the type of course that you help people design and the outcomes that you get them to do you think any business, and you know, literally any business, can create online course content that they can sell? That's a bold statement, and you're shaking your head for the people that may be listening.
I've never found a business that can't create some kind of online course. And I've spoken loads of events where I've stood up on stage in front of people and I've said, some of you are looking at me dubiously right now, put your hand up, tell me what your business is. If you think you can't create an online course right now, tell me what your business is, and I'll spend 2 minutes with you and I'll tell you what you could map out, and I'll give you the skeleton bones of an online course now. And the first time I said that, I thought, whoa, this could all go really, really wrong. But it hasn't. I've had hundreds of people like sitting there putting their hands up saying I could do what I do. And I've always managed to think of something for everything that I've spoken to. So
what's the one business that during that, on those hands up, has given you the biggest thought moment of going, okay, what do I really need to do to get them to have an online course? So the hardest person that's put their hand up.
I think the most complicated one has been a Chinese an acupuncturist who insisted that her clients needed to see her individually one-to-one so that she could work out exactly what was going on with them before she could give them any advice. But what we managed to do was work process. It's all having a repeatable process in your business. And she had a repeatable process that she took people through. So we worked out a way that she could turn that course part of it. They could come and work with her one-to-one, but they would have done all of that pre-work for her. So it would have saved her the time of having to go through all the questions. And so it's not always a complete solution, but for her, it saved her about 2 or 3 hours for every customer before they came to her. And that's what it's all about. Saving time and not the same process over and over again.
Exactly. I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of the lessons that can be put across the other areas of their business. It's having that consistency in systems and lead gens or whatever it is, that you know that you can almost make it, well, not almost, you kind of want to make it become predictable in what's going to happen. So you know that X amount of people are going to buy your course, and the upsell might be some one-to-one stuff, for example, or however it works. But it's having that consistency in a business, whether it's creating a course, even through to like doing your accounts or whatever that is. That's for me, I think that's, and let's not get into accounts. But that is the key.
Let's not talk about that.
No, I had a bad experience in 2019 with accounts.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I never seem to have much luck with accounts. One of my favorite clients of all times was a really high ticket coach in America who charged like $10,000 to work with her one-to-one. And that was the only thing she wanted. She didn't want any other clients. She didn't want a lower ticket item. But what she found was that because she was quite a celebrity, she had lots of people coming to her who were the wrong person, and she was wasting time going through the qualification. So we built her an online course, which I think she sold for about $500. So not expensive. But the only way she would even consider talking to you to work with her is if you'd booked a course, completed her course, and submitted all the homework on time.
Wow.
And then that opened up the window
that's
to
the qualifying
you're
criteria.
coachable, you're going to follow my process, you understand what it's like to work with me, you've already had a taste of what I need. And if you tick all my boxes, and if you go through the course, and if you do everything on time, then it opens to say, would you like to find out about working with me one-to-one?
That's
and
a
that
really
saved her
interesting take on it.
Huge amounts of time.
Yeah. I've never thought about it in that manner, where you can make it a qualifying asset in your business to get better clients. Whenever I've always thought of courses, I always thought as an extension, or maybe to fill that void for lower ticket stuff, or that mid-range area. But that's a really great point, especially for coaches, consultants, service providers, anything of that level, where you can actually have a better pre-qualified client after that as well, which is spot on.
Yeah,
this is why you're the genius.
And I mean,
Kerrie.
if she's charging $10,000 for a one-to-one coaching, $500, it's not going to be a money maker for her. No. It's never the part of her business that makes her, it's not income generating really. It's more of a token amount to make sure that someone's going to follow your process and work with you.
And inevitably she'll have better clients because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And therefore, better clients, better business, less time spent on the frustrating clients. Because I think as business owners, it's all that stuff that drains you, isn't it? You look at your calendar and you've got 5 calls booked in, and then at the end of the day, 4 of them have not been your ideal client at all, not for any fault of their own. They've just been completely the wrong person to work with you. And it's that sort of draining feeling of, well, I've spent the whole day and I haven't actually achieved anything.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can try and get rid of some of that and, help yourself have better days.
Exactly.
I'm all for that.
So when you started this business, when you started creating courses for other people, what were the hurdles that you had to overcome in your business to actually help those people create courses?
I think some of the biggest hurdles was getting people to actually price them correctly. So not wanting to sell everything for $29. Massive in people's mindset. I ended up doing a lot of work on mindset and energy work to help my clients, because I realized that actually the first stage of working with somebody, they all said, do that. I could never earn that much money. Oh no, easy, is it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it is if you let it be easy.
So the money mindset side of things.
Yeah, definitely. Sort of from my business point of view, very much done for you. So I do a lot of not coaching, I guess it's more consultancy. So I do a lot of kind of training people to build their own courses, which is great if you can get people to actually turn up and pay attention. I used to be so frustrated with people that bought my stuff and didn't do the work. And now obviously I know that that's the way it goes. People will buy your stuff and not do the work.
Well, I guess back at the start, you were probably a lot more emotionally attached to what you created, because it was your first, perhaps not your first product, but one of the first products in this new business that you were putting out there, that people were buying, that people wanted to have, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of the risks when you run your own. You become very personally attached to everything. It's almost like an extra child. It's almost like something that you really value, and that actually I want everybody to how amazing my child is, or how good my dog is when I take it out for a walk, or whatever it is.
I don't experience
so letting go of that need for validation. You want everybody to think that you've got the best dog, the best kids. You have got the best dog, to be fair. He's better than all of mine.
Not when he walks though. Not on the lead. Not on the lead. No. He's awful. Is his birthday?
But it's that need for validation, is to learn to say, actually, I'm really happy with my product, and that's all. That's all I can do. That's all that matters.
So in that external validation point, how does someone that comes to you when they're in that original space of I can't charge this much, or I don't have the knowledge, or I don't have, like those people that put up their hand in the audience and just go, I don't have anything to offer. How do you then make them go through those processes where they're standing on, when perhaps they're standing on that stage and they're offering that course that you help them create? What's that journey like? What's that experience like?
So getting information out of their head and into a process. So it all starts with your ideal customer. Everything starts with how well do you know your ideal customer? Because I always say to people, if you try to sell something online from a sales page, it's really difficult unless you know your ideal customer inside out. Because if I'm talking to you now and trying to sell you something, and I'm telling you how great it is and it's going to help you do this, I can see from your body language, or I can hear from your voice if you're on the phone, or if I'm standing on stage, I can see everybody start to sort of, look around and pick their phones up. And people lose interest.
Yeah.
When someone's reading a sales page, if they lose interest, they click away and you've lost them.
Exactly.
Gone. So unless if you're on the phone or if you're on a Zoom call, you can change your pitch if you think that what you're saying is starting to not be very, quite what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You can't online. You've got to know them so well that there is no option for them to flick away from the page and go and look somewhere else. And if you're trying to be everything for everybody, that won't work.
You're wasting a lot of your own time doing that.
Yeah, I've got clients who are in the space of helping people with mental health issues. And they'll say to me, I can help anybody who's suffering from depression, I can help. And I go, but you need to pick a person that you can help. Because if I'm writing a Facebook ad, or if I'm writing a Facebook post or a LinkedIn post or a blog post or whatever piece of content to try and get somebody to come and look at a sales page for my course, if I'm saying, oh, are you feeling depressed? Are you struggling? I can help you. You're not really going to get anybody. But if you pick a niche, for example, of new mum, maybe new young mums, early 20s, who are really struggling with postnatal depression, if you write a post that says, something along the lines of, I can see you sitting there feeding the baby at 1 o'clock in the morning on the sofa, looking through Facebook photos of your friends out getting drunk and at parties. And I know that you're wondering where your life's gone and how it's all suddenly you've ended up in this position. And I know that you're probably missing your job and you feel like you haven't got a life and you feel like you haven't got a purpose. And I understand how you're feeling. And I've helped lots of people who are feeling like that. And I'd really love to give you some tips on how you could start to get yourself better and be an amazing person, which will allow you to be an amazing mum.
Yeah.
Like, you're much more likely to risk that kind of
massively
and terminology.
Yeah.
You're that person. Because to be fair, that person could have read the first post that said, are you feeling a bit depressed? I can help you. And actually they could have read that, but they wouldn't have connected with it.
No. And that's the thing. You want that emotional connection with your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got to meet really well in order to be able to do that. You've got to know everything about them.
Which is why I always start
the biggest hurdle. Yeah. And everybody that joins my mastermind and my training programs and my groups, they all go, oh, I've done this before. It's fine. I've done this before. And then you get about 5 weeks in and they start saying to me, I haven't got any conversions. Nobody's buying. My sales page isn't getting, the response that I think. And I go, okay, that's fine. Show me your ideal client work that you did at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they all go, oh well, I've done that before.
Exactly. But I think, and this is something that's really interesting to bring up, is that businesses change, right? People change over time. There's so many moving parts in people's lives and business. Like that 20-year-old mum or 20-something-year-old mum 3 years ago wasn't sat on that sofa feeding her child at 1 a.m. So wouldn't have been in your ideal client. So I do this with my clients as well. It's, having those timeouts within your business to relook at your ideal clients and relook at the courses that they've created. Is it still aligning with their business? Is it still focused on what they're offering in terms of maybe a bigger picture scenario? Because the world moves so quickly now that, 20 years ago, the year 2000, or 25 years ago, when things were very different back then, when people were much more focused on the 3-year plan, the 5-year plan. Now, I think because of Facebook, LinkedIn, social media in general, the world in general, people in general, the way that we process information, people are a lot quicker to do things. So you can set up a business very quick now.
Yeah.
You know, how, for example, if someone came to you tomorrow and they had pretty much all their ducks in a row, how quickly do you think you could get a course created for them? How quickly could they have a course to market?
So the way that I work is that you start to market and sell the course before you've created it. So
Smart.
quickest ever turnaround, who signed up 20th of November, have something to sell for a Black Friday offer. And we got her sales page and we got it all done and we got it out there so she could sell it on Black Friday. But she was selling it as a pre-sale. So it was buy this now and the course will be ready on the 1st of January or whatever the phrase was. But she came in literally 3 or 4 days, really close. This was not Black Friday just gone, the one before. Really close, and said, am I too late? And I said, no, not if you're prepared to put the time in. Because if you know your ideal client and you know the one thing that you can help them achieve, that's most of the pull done. You don't have to have the content created before you start selling it. You can go out there really quickly and say, you know, I see you, I understand you, I know this is your problem, I know this is the solution that you want, and I can help you get there quicker than you'll get there on your own. Here's what you have to do. Take this action now, pre-order this, and go for it. That's so you can do it. Really doesn't have to, and I often think the quicker you with it and do it, the less faffing around there is and the less excuses you'll make. And I guarantee that once you've sold one place, you'll bloody well create that course. Whereas 100%. If you don't sell a place, you'll spend months planning and thinking about it,
justifying why it's not working, justifying why it isn't the right time, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing how quickly money speeds people up, not in terms of the customer, but in terms of the person that has just received that money. You know, if these people haven't created
everything,
that course,
it changes everything.
It's
and it means that you've already been paid for your time that you're spending in creating the course. So you're not putting hours of time. You're not putting hours of time into creating something with no idea whether it will sell. You get paid for, and as you know, as business owners, freelancers, whoever we are, we like to invoice people before we do the work. It's kind of risky you wouldn't work for somebody for a month and then say at the end of it, now will you pay me please? You know, generally you have an agreement that you're paid before you do the work, and that allows you to have the same principle. You know, you've been paid, you've sold 2 courses, you've been paid, now bloody well get out there and make it. Which you will. You're much more likely to.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that comes back to the money mindset aspect that we touched upon. You know, automatically you've got that confidence that actually this is something that's desired. It's what people want. It's being purchased, even if it's just that first purchase. Even if you only ever get that one purchase for that one course, it's still a validated idea. It's still a validated course. And I think emotionally, this is what people probably don't see in terms of your work. You know, when you're talking about creating courses for other people and creating these streams of income in terms of your business, these different streams of income, I think people miss out on the back end work that you put in to help these people, you know, generate this money and this confidence within their business. Tell me the story about how the £10,000 in 2 days. This is the story I want to hear.
Yeah, so we had a client who came to us middle of last year, and she had a course that she'd put together the sales page for, and she'd mapped out the course, but it wasn't selling, and she hadn't sold as many of it as she wanted to, and she only had about a week or so before the open cart period was due to end. So we came along and rebuilt the sales page for her. She'd got most of it done. There was just a few bits that weren't quite what they needed to be. So we made changes for her, and we helped her sell a few more in that really short window of a week. And then 3 months later, when the next time she was launching it rolled around, we were like, right, this time we've had time to do it properly and put everything in place. And we put a full funnel together for her. So she ran a challenge before she launched the course, and off the back of the challenge and off the back of the people that she had in there and in talking about and promoting the course, when we said to people, right, it's ready now, here's you know, here's the cart's open, go and click and buy. She managed to get over £10,000 worth of business in just about 3 days.
It's
signing
incredible.
up for it. Now, that wasn't me that did that. She did it. It was her challenge. It was her content. It was her knowing her ideal client. All we did was just helped her streamline it and put it together and get it out there. So I don't take any credit for the fact that it was her course and it was her stuff, but it would have taken her a lot longer to get there because we've done so many of them, because we chatted every day on Facebook Messenger for the whole 2 weeks of her launch. And every day she'd say, right, things are slowing down. What can I do today? And I'd say, well, try this. Go out there and offer this. Suggest this.
Yeah.
Offer a whole day of free 15-minute calls to anyone that's interested. Have you personally messaged everybody that you think, just I was able to give her little things to do every day to keep getting out there and making it a really successful launch.
That's a really good example of the power of mentorship or coaching, whatever we want to call it. But having that person that she trusted, that she knew could help her, that she wanted to help her as well. Because I think that's a big thing, is when people have this information that they want to put out there, often they think that, hey, I can do it alone. I can create something on Canva or PowerPoint or whatever, record a couple of videos, put it out there, and guess what? I'm going to make a load of money. But having you in my head, I've got that image of, Rocky and his trainer, Mickey. You're Mickey, right? You're the person that gets Rocky in the ring and makes sure he wins the fight. Obviously, much healthier than Mickey because he was on his death's door. But that's the power of a mentor.
It is. I say that in my business, I end up knowing a little bit about hundreds of different types of businesses. I've built courses for florists and copywriters. I've got such random information in my head, like little bits of information about loads of different things, but I'm not an expert in any of those.
Yeah.
But I know how to take your expertise and package it up into something that will sell and something that will be profitable. And that's the missing piece, because I think we all get into working for ourselves because we're really good at what we do. Like if you're a graphic designer, I'm going to photo pretty. You've got to learn marketing and sales and bookkeeping, and you've got to go out networking, and you've got to find clients. And it's not all just about your skills. It's things you need. And I think especially when you're putting together an online course, I don't have any of the knowledge or experience that my clients have, but I know how to ask the right questions and how to pull it out of their heads and how to then say, here's what you do with that to make it sell. And that's the missing piece.
And you don't need to have that expertise. You don't need to know 101 different types of flowers to help someone create a florist course. That's the key. It's you're like the conductor to get that information out of their brain. You're the conductor to bring the music and the course together to make those sales, to make that sales page better, etc., etc. And I think that's what's missing a lot in the world in general, but also in when people see coaches and mentors or whatever we want to call them online, and they don't understand what they do. And this is why I said earlier, in terms of you're that back end knowledge hub, which makes it all work, which is great. But
I say to everybody I talk to, like you could go and Google it, you search it, you could understand how to build a sales funnel, how to build a high converting sales page, how to write your emails that tie it all together, what tech to use, what systems to use. You could work it all out, but it'd take 100%. You a good few months to work it all out, and a lot of trial and error. Or you could hire us and we can help you do it.
Exactly.
I think if you want results, you have to invest something, and you either invest your time in learning it and making mistakes and doing what I did at the beginning, which is years of actually, I wasted loads of
trial and error.
Facebook ads. I wouldn't do it again. You either invest your time or you invest some money in getting someone else to help you.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's no other way that you're going to learn something.
Exactly. And I think this is, you know, I say it quite a lot, that everything you need to know is online, is out there. You know, someone's already done it once.
Absolutely.
There's pretty much very little now that is very new, like 100% new idea, fresh idea. Very few things. And it's that it's that investment that you just mentioned that people sometimes struggle with. They struggle with the fact that, okay, I could invest X amount of money with you, or I could do it myself. But what is your time worth to yourself that is going to help, you know, deliver this product, create this business, get these sales, X amount, you know, 6 months of doing it yourself, or 1 month with Kerrie, for example. What is the pros and cons of each?
And I think that people who have sort of virtual businesses or online businesses have got a really different mindset from the people who set up sort of face-to-face brick and mortar businesses. And I know that you work with both types of customer. Now, when I used to have a proper business, I used to have a magazine with 30 full-time members of staff and a 6-figure monthly wage bill, and, you know, 2 offices, one in Bristol and one in London, and like proper business rather than proper in inverted commas.
Quotations, proper business.
Somebody going to set up a proper business never expect that they could invest no time, no money and make a profit.
Yeah.
Ever. Yet people think, I'm going to set up an online business. I don't want to invest any money. I don't want to invest any time. Why aren't I making $5,000 a month? Because that's not the way the world works.
Why do you think people think that? Why do you think
just,
that's a common thought now online?
I think it's so done it, like here's how much money I make, you know, here's me, and here's my lifestyle, and here's me sitting on a beach while the money rolls in.
Yeah.
I think people think it's going to be easy, and I also think that it's an avenue for people who maybe aren't necessarily business minded. Like people, you know, someone who's got a strong skill and wants to market that skill doesn't necessarily think about investment and capital and you know, cash flow forecasts and all of the other boring stuff that comes with proper business. So that's the difference for me. When I speak to people who have run brick and mortar businesses, they just come along and say, yeah, absolutely. What's the benefits? How much does it cost? How long will it take me to make that investment back? Great, let's do it.
Yeah.
And the people who have come to it from I've worked in corporate all my life and now I want to set up my own business, they're the ones who are very much like, well, you know, £100, I don't know if I want to spend that on anything. Then don't spend it, but don't get the results. Does that make sense?
100%.
I think every single person has got skills that they can teach somebody else. I asked a question on my Facebook the other day, like, what's the best thing, or what one thing are you really good at? Everybody was there telling me all of this stuff that they're really, really good at. And my next post tomorrow, I'm going to go back and ask all of them, are you monetizing that? Are you actually, this thing that you've told me that you're really good at, what are you doing to make some money out of that? Even if it's £100 a month that you make out of it. It doesn't have to be a 6-figure, 7-figure.
What do you think the percent of people will be that will say, I'm not? Knowing your audience as well, knowing the type of people that follow you.
What percentage of people that are doing something about it will be really low, less than 10%. Most people will be able to stand up and say, I'm really good at this, but I'm not monetizing it. Whereas in my brain, I think I'm really good at this. People are always coming and asking me the same question. So if somebody comes to you all the time and says, can I pick your brains? Can I just ask you how you did this? Make a really short online course, online product, stick it up for sale for 20 quid.
Amazing.
There you go, job done. Yes, you can pick my brains. That's a question that I get all the time. And the easiest way for you to learn from me is to pay for this. Done.
Yeah.
Even if you only end up selling one a week and you make 100 quid a month, is that not better than always having a conversation over and again with people and something for free, wasting your time?
Yeah, and it saves you what, 4 or 5 hours a month talking to these people that may or may never action what you say. It's again, it comes back to that time aspect.
And it positions, I think I think it sets you apart from everyone else as well. I think once you have an online for sale, once you're able to say to people, yeah, absolutely, I've got a PDF or a course or a video series that teaches you that exact thing, go here to buy it. I think that sets you apart from all of the other millions of people who don't have that.
Massively.
I genuinely do.
And what I find really interesting is that 90% that aren't doing it. They've got the skill, they've got the knowledge, but they're not doing it. Why is it, do you think, in their head they're not doing it? Is it a fear? Is it just not knowing about it, not having that knowledge that they can do it? Or is it something else that's going on in their world?
I think a lot of people that I work with are scared of the tech. So they're scared of then they're getting it wrong and spending too long, and they don't want to learn the tech side of it, which, I mean, it's a fair point. You do have to learn the tech if you're going to learn how to do it yourself. It doesn't have to be complicated. I've bought online courses before where I've bought from a sales page, like maybe a set of videos or a set of templates or something that's really interesting to me. And once I've clicked buy, I've been directed to a Dropbox folder with 3 folders that says, week 1 here, click on here, download your video, watch the videos. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Super
it's
simple.
The content and it's knowledge and it's the change. It's the buy what they're going to learn from you. They buy that transformation. They don't have to have an all singing, all dancing, complicated tech system. It can be really simple. And obviously that has to be reflected in the price. If you're charging £1,000 for something that's delivered to me in a Dropbox folder, I'm probably going to be a little bit like, really? I've just paid £1,000 for that. But at the same time, if people get the result that you promised them they're going to get, that's all that matters. So you don't have to make it complicated. That's one thing that people say to me all the time is, the tech, I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know what to do. And I think one of the other things is that there's a lot of people out there that are real perfectionists and that have an existing business with a great reputation, and they know that they deliver a really good level of service to their clients, and they just don't want to put together an online course that isn't perfect or that isn't good enough, or that, does that make sense?
Massively. The perfection side of things comes out all the time. I see online and with my clients loads of different situations where that perfectionist also, what I find, I don't know about you, but there seems to often be a perfectionist combined with almost an imposter syndrome. They always like to be coupled up together when people are trying to do something, and whether that's creating a course, starting a business from scratch. But coming back to what you said a minute ago, which I found really interesting in terms of the mindset of the bricks and mortar people, the people that are in it every day, they've got a physical space, they've got the motion of getting up, going to their office, seeing their staff, paying their wages, that kind of thing, versus the new internet business person that perhaps doesn't have that has that time when they're on YouTube, they're watching videos about business, all that kind of stuff. That shows a very different environment, behavior, tactics in terms of what their business wants to be about, which I think comes across in that less perfectionist way when you've got that environment, when you've got those sort of things going on. And
I don't think that means that you can't be successful. I just think that it's a whole different mindset, and it's something you need to get your head around. One of the first online courses I bought was from Denise Duffield Thomas.
What a name! That is the name.
I bought the Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp, which is all about money mindset. And when I bought it back in 2013, probably, it was her recording it at home on her iPhone to whatever backdrop she had. And it was great. And the content was really good. And I learned so much from it. She's now increased the price about 10 times. And she now spends tens of thousands of dollars on professional hair and makeup and professional videography and everything. And it's the same content. It's the same content, exactly the same. But because her audience has grown, and because she's obviously males and she's got money coming in, and because she's now, her name's more widely known, every time she re-releases the course, it's done more professionally. And I think that's what people don't realize, is that it's okay to start small. It's okay. You can record your online course with Zoom on your laptop if you need to. And that's okay. That's good enough. And then maybe when you sold 10 places and you've made £1,000, you know, if you price your course at £100, you sell 10 places, maybe then you think, okay, so I'm going to set myself a target, another 10 sales, and then I'll take that extra money and I will get someone else to create my PowerPoint presentations for me, or want to video me, or I'll get someone to edit like a funky swirly thing at the beginning and one at the end, or whatever it is. You have to have all of that to start.
Yeah, exactly. Something that one of my mentors taught me years ago, it was, you know, what you're doing now isn't what you're going to do forever. It's you can change, you can adapt, you can go across. So, you know, like that money course where iPhone, now a swank, she probably has a team, like you said, makeup professional, that kind of stuff. It just shows that actually she's evolved with her business, and as her business has increased and the new levels and the image has probably changed from her. If you it'd be interested to see if you went and looked back at her original posts in 2013, how was she coming across to versus now, which is going to be very different, not just because of the timeline, but that difference could happen in what, 3-6 months if you wanted it to.
Exactly. And she's very open about her journey and her path. And she says to people, look, you see me now and you see my content now and you think, oh, I could never do that because I could never be that good. But oh my God, look at my first videos. They were awful. They were really embarrassing. Look how bad they were. But actually, that was what I had to do to get to where I am now. If you wait to be perfect, you'll never, ever get there. You can look at people online all the time.
No such thing as perfection.
I can't launch my course because I'm not as good as her, or I don't have a professional hair and makeup and photographer, and I don't have this. You're making excuses. Get on with it. Do it and then improve it.
Just start. That's it. Just start. Whatever it is you want to do, you just start. Because if you don't, someone else, I always give this analogy of, if you don't start now, what's going to happen is in 12 months time, you're going to be in a pub or a restaurant, in a bar or somewhere with your friends. You'll chat to a stranger and they're doing exactly what you wanted to start doing a year ago. And when did they start? 12 months ago, 6 months ago. Because you see it all the time. You see it all the time in life. And the only way to do something is to start doing it. It's like when you first I know we're on the end of the call here, but what I would love to just end on is that lesson in terms of just starting, in terms of where your life was when you first started, and that conversation you had with yourself to be like, I'm just gonna do it. This is what I need to be doing. This is what my focus is, because you've been doing this for a long time now as well.
For me, the sort of deciding moment for me was I was spending so much time away from the kids, not able to go to school, like whatever assemblies they had, or picking them up from school, because I'd got so many done for you clients that I was doing social media for and sitting in front of my laptop all the time. And I'd left there, I'd been together for 16 years. So I was on my own and I just kept thinking, this isn't from there. Said I was right.
You're back. You're good. You're back. Mid-story.
Always busy, up top, was always.
Are you still there, Kerrie?
They were bad for the first. I sort of sat myself down and said, right, okay. Decision to make with your business where you are now. You can either spend those 10 days buying with you, or you can get off your ass and do something about it. And you've bought some online courses, and I bet you could make something. I don't know where to start, but I bet you could use that 10 days for something far better than watching Sky. At the time it was Sky. Watch yourself. It was quite a difficult decision, because the idea of 10 days of pity on the sofa with all of the leftover Christmas food and the dog. That's quite a good idea. So
that's an appealing image.
Gear, and I gave myself that. And I created a course at the time, social media agency, and I was doing done for you social media for people. And I for something to do social media for people, but I had lots of to do your own social. And I look back at it now and it's really embarrassing and really basic. And it was like five videos with worksheets to go with them and actions for people to do. And I sold it for £200 and sold 10 of them in that gap between Christmas and New Year.
Wow.
And my kids came back, I'd got £2,000 in my bank account and thought, bloody hell, that's a lot easier than having to take on 4 new £500 clients and then sit and do the work of this. That was nice. So it was that, so in my head, that was quite a nice way to earn that money. And that's just what inspired me to keep going, perfect it and tweak it and do more. That
decision to not spend 10 days sat on the sofa eating celebrations with your dog.
Well, yeah, there was a bit of eating celebrations on the sofa. That's important.
Yeah, it was Christmas. It was Christmas.
But I think that's a decision that we all have in our lives. How much are we enjoying our misery? Like, how much do you actually enjoy the misery that you moan about? When you moan about, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money.
Some people love being miserable.
About it for a while,
you know.
But if you're not prepared to do something about it, then stop moaning.
Yeah, my
kids will tell you I'm not very sympathetic.
Just get up, go. It's just a scratch. It's just a scratch. No, but that is such a great thing to end on. You know, don't accept your own misery sometimes. You know, allow yourself to get off the sofa, start your new life, start whatever it is you want to create, because you're the only one that can do it, and there's no one else that can do it for you. And I think that's a big lesson and a big hurdle.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it. And if you're not going to do it, someone else is. And you don't want to be that person in 12 months' time, meeting yourself of what you could have been. But there's always, even when you are that person, just start then, because there's always a better way to do something. But no, Kerrie, I thank you so much for coming on. Apologies for the sound issues and all that kind of stuff we've had today. It happens. I've got a year of this, so I'm going to get used to it a little bit. But how can people find you? How can people get in touch with you? How can people find you?
Yeah, Facebook, LinkedIn. There's only one person with my name out there in the world, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. Just come and find me, come and send me a message, either business page or wherever. Come and send me a message and have a chat. I'm always got free challenges going on and webinars and stuff. There's loads of ways you can find out more about what I do.
You're definitely one of the most consistent.
If I can motivate someone to do this, if I can get, whether or not they work with me, more online courses out.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Kerrie, thank you so much for coming on. This has been Founders365, and we've got number 2 done in the bag. Thank you so much, Kerrie.